Okay, in this video we continue to look at factoring polynomials of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Much like we saw previously in other types of factoring, this problem has a common factor that we have to take out. And it's really important to get that common factor. This time we have the x cubes, the x squareds, and the x, so we definitely have to pull out the x. But there's also a numerical common factor, and even though you could do this problem using factoring techniques, you'd have to be looking at things 2 times 48 is 96 that multiply to be 96 and add to be 20. So it's important to go ahead and pull out that common factor. So we pull out the 2x, and then we're left with x squared plus 10x plus 24, and inside hopefully have a little voice that's jumping around excitedly, because now by pulling out that common factor we actually don't have anything in front of the squared term. So that means the problem can be done a lot quicker. We just need to look for things that multiply to be 24 and add to be 10. In this case that would be a 4 and a 6. And so when there's nothing in front of the squared term to do the factoring, we can do it the much quicker way by just finding those pair of factors. Often the numbers will be a lot smaller, and we can do it really quickly. And so that's what happens in this example here. As we move now to example 2, we have another problem. Now we could factor this right now as 15 times 70. Have fun. You're looking at things that multiply to be like 1,050 that add to be -5. Have fun with that. But instead we recognize that 5 goes into everything. So we can pull out that common factor of a 5. 3x squared minus x, and then we're just left with minus 14. So we've went from looking at things that would have multiplied to be 15 times 70, which again, by the way, is 1,050, add to be -5, to now looking at things that multiply to be 3 times 14, which is only 42. Much easier problem. So find that common factor when you can and take it out. Now, often I'm going to kind of ignore that 5 for a little bit that's outside. So I'm just going to kind of draw a little arrow to remind myself to put it back into the problem later on when it's time for it. And now just focus on the problem at hand. Numbers that multiply to be -42, excuse me, that add to be a -1, and hopefully you can find those really quickly. That's going to be a +6 and a -7. +6 and a -7. Okay, 3x squared plus 6x minus 7x minus 14. We replace the -x with those two numbers, 6 and -7, the two numbers that multiply to be -42 and add to be -1. Okay, then we can do our grouping. And again, I really encourage you, as you're doing these problems, pause the video, try to work some of it out on your own. If you get stuck, you can keep playing to move on. That's how you get practice and how you can kind of learn these processes. So we pull out our common factor of a 3x. We have an x plus 2. We pull out our common factor here. Remember, the third term's a negative, so we bring that down. 7 and 14, we pull out a 7. Remember, we've already factored out a -7, so that's going to change the signs and make that a plus 2 there. And then we can pull out the x plus 2 out of both. And the 3x minus 7. And then I see my little arrow over here. And don't forget that the 5 belongs as part of the answer. So we have 5 times x plus 2 times 3x minus 7. Okay, so hopefully this will help you out. We'll have one more video with another example or two of this type of factoring.